Oh, boys and girls, it's the most wonderful time of the year. The Football Manager 2023 Winter Update has been released, which, thinking about it, is probably the third most wonderful time of the year after the beta coming out and the full game coming out. But that being said, it's still a pretty wonderful time of the year. And it's fair to say that this year's update is probably a little more eagerly anticipated than a usual year too. In addition to all the up-to-date transfers and updated player ratings that we get every year, we've also been promised a host of fixes and improvements across multiple different areas of the game. And unlike the data updates that are only for new saves, the actual fixes, the gameplay stuff, will impact your existing save games. So even if you're not planning on starting a new save on the new winter update, there is stuff in here that is relevant to you. So without further ado, let's jump in and see exactly what is on offer as part of the FM23 winter update. Hello folks and welcome along to some Football Manager breaking news. We don't get a lot of breaking news. We have to capitalise on it when it happens. I'm Kev. If you're not familiar with my videos, I do make daily Football Manager videos. So if you're here because of the breaking news, make sure you have a look around the channel. You might find something else you like. Maybe subscribe, turn your notifications on, and at the very least, it'd be lovely if you could leave a nice big thumbs up on the video to let me know that you appreciate this kind of content and you would like more Football Manager breaking news. Like I say, we don't get breaking news very often, but it is the winter update. This is a big deal. We've been waiting for it a long time. Let's jump in and have a look to see what's a part of it. So this was all announced across all of the Football Manager socials yesterday afternoon, and all the posts linked back to this page on the Football Manager website. It does give you a nice little overview of the changes that have happened. If you just want a nice little overview, this is definitely the place for you. It covers all of the key stuff, but we want to dig a little bit deeper. So I'm actually clicking on this section on the community forum, which breaks things down a little further for us in this really quite long series of posts about all of the things that have gone on. So we're going to have a little look through this and see what's actually happened. So the main headlines, the data update, the winter update, whatever you want to call it, is available across all versions of Football Manager. It should just happen automatically, whether you're on PC, console, phone, whatever you're on. If it hasn't happened, it varies from device to device how you force the update to happen. There are details on this page further down. There you go. There's the details on how to force it to happen if you need to force it to happen. But it should just happen automatically. And then you are on Football Manager version 23.3, which is the new winter update, which apparently contains 3.7 million database changes. So obviously we can't go through the database changes in detail, but luckily someone on Reddit has already gone through and highlighted the key database changes. So if you're only interested in what's happened to players, obviously all of the transfers are up to date. So everything that happened in January, like all of the players in the world joining Chelsea, they are now at Chelsea. There's Enzo Fernandez. There's Mudryk. They're all here. And there is your full list of all of the players going into Chelsea. For example, Santos, Felix in on loan. They all come in a strange order because obviously they all have to be backdated to the summers. You've got Enzo Fernandez all the way back there, but they are all here. Madueke, Badiashile, Mudryk, they're all there. Chelsea spending, people say I spend a lot. 486 million. That's impressive work, Chelsea. It's also nice to see, in my completely unbiased opinion, that there are a number of Arsenal players who have quite rightly had their current abilities upgraded. You can see Martinelli is in there with an upgrade to both his current ability and potential ability. Bukayo Saka, likewise. Odegaard, Gabriel, Zinchenko. Lots of Arsenal players in there. Thomas Partey as well. Lots of them getting a nice little boost. And the Arsenal squad itself now looking much stronger overall. In fact, if I put my squad view on here, you can see that there are a number of Arsenal players that are pretty good. Ben White is now a natural right back. And if we have a look at the Premier League, you can see that based on all of these changes, Zinchenko actually makes it into the Premier League Dream 11 at left back, and Arsenal considered a top 5 team on the media preview, which I can't remember how that lined up previously, but it looks like there's far less separating that top 5, top 6, even Newcastle in 7th place. It's a much tighter top 7 than I think it was on the launch version of the game. You can see there's some other fairly significant big changes in there as well. Players who are having their breakthroughs this season on the likes of Evan Ferguson, Rico Lewis, Marcus Rashford has had a decent boost as well. Caicedo has had his previous dynamic potential ability that could let his potential be anywhere between 160 and 180. He now has a hard-coded potential ability of 175, which means he can't quite reach the same heights he would sometimes reach before, but you're more consistently likely to end up with a very good Caicedo if you end up getting him. And of course, some players have had downgrades as well as part of this. The biggest one that this guy on Reddit found, Dele Alli losing 19 points of current ability. Jadon Sancho, Son, Aubameyang have all taken hits. Fabinho dropping down. I mean, this is all largely as expected, but does just make sure the game is brought nicely up to date. So now we've had a look at a small fraction of the 3.7 million database changes. Let's have a look at some of these changes that have happened. So these were the headline ones that were mentioned in all the social media posts. It is important to say they include, but are not limited to, because we've got a way bigger list further down, but it's general improvements to a lot of the stuff that a lot of people were frustrated about before. So general poor touches, mistakes, defensive positioning, manager AI for midfield roles, which was a big frustration of mine. It was always the same defensive midfield positions. I don't know if they've adjusted the fact that it's always defensive midfielders all of the time. If they've got rid of that horrible flat back 7 that all of the AI seem to do, that would be lovely. I know the headers one statistic upset a lot of people. I remember Work the Space posting about that on Twitter because he was finding it very upsetting, and just general lots and lots of stuff. Updated rules for various competitions. If you've been watching my Twitch streams lately, you would be delighted to know they've updated the Swiss League so it no longer has that horrible playoff at the end of the season that absolutely ruined me time and time again when we were managing Servette over in Switzerland. Highlights of that are over on LOLLUJO too, or you can watch me live on Twitch most nights, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. But let's dig down into the actual change list rather than looking at the headlines. Anyone can go and look at the headlines for themselves, but the change list is what we're really looking for. So stability-wise, they've got crash fixes. I hadn't really experienced much in the way of crashes, but I know some people had a lot of crashes and just general optimization stuff. Always good to see. It's not very specific, though. We already know about the large number of database changes, but these are our key changes. So key changes to the match engines. We've got key changes and miscellaneous changes to the match engine. Fixes to reduce the number of mistakes from bad touches in certain areas of the pitch. I know this is a massive frustration to a lot of people. I haven't had a lot of time to play around with the match engine yet. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments on how some of this stuff has been implemented. We played a few matches on stream last night, and it didn't feel massively different to me, but then I wasn't noticing a lot of the issues before either. Fixing defenders not preparing correctly for crosses. Again, that's been a massive complaint. Improvements to defender reactions to long through balls. Increased number of progressive passes being played to central attacking teammates. That's a long sentence, isn't it? Reduce the number of erratic long shots being attempted. I have noticed that was a problem before, and I would love to see that reduced, and hopefully we get to see that in action. And also tweaks to make attacking players move quicker to support counterattacks. So that's all stuff that is addressing a lot of the complaints that people have had about the FM23 match engine. Now, obviously, I need time to sit and play to see how this is implemented. I'm recording this literally the day before I head off to Barcelona for my Barcelona matchday vlog this weekend. I've probably played 7 or 8 matches on the new match engine, so I can't vouch for any of this stuff yet. It feels good, but until I've got a couple of 100 matches under my belt, I won't be able to comment on this stuff properly. But like I say, let me know over the weekend down in the comments section, once you get some matches under your belt, are you noticing these updates that are being announced? There's also some miscellaneous changes as well. Increase the number of overhead kicks being attempted. I don't remember thinking there wasn't enough, but I guess there wasn't enough previously. Improvements to how AI managers use different midfield role combinations. That one is a huge one that I will be looking out for, because I think that's been rubbish in FM23 so far. They've improved central defender and defensive midfielder positioning from long goal kicks. Again, it links back into the what about just long balls in general. Long through balls, big balls over the top have been something of a frustration. The defense, just the general defensive positioning on big long balls forward. So the fact that's being fixed in various different ways, long through balls, long goal kicks, has got to be a positive. Improvements to how attacking wide players track back while defending. This is all good stuff. Fix for making 3 substitutions in the first half will lead to the user being able to make substitutions at half time. I didn't know that was an issue, but that is a silly issue. So that's fixed. Lovely stuff. Fix the goalkeeper positioning being too high when defending certain types of free kicks. Just general goalkeeper fixes are very, very welcome. Fixed a rare issue where 2 yellow cards. I didn't know that was a thing. 2 yellow cards didn't lead to a sending off. That's now fixed as well. Lovely. Fixed a rare issue where there was no highlight after a goal was scored. Fixed various goalkeeper bloopers. Highlight that, make it large. I did notice a couple of goalkeeper bloopers still in my Twitch stream last night, but they were different bloopers. They were bloopers I hadn't seen before, and you could argue they were bloopers that rubbish goalkeeper was supposed to make for me. And fixes for defending wide, indirect free kicks at the edge of the area. One thing I did notice with all these match engine changes, and it is very much early days to be able to tell if this is actually a thing or not, but my vertical tiki-taka 4-3-3 tactic that I've been using with Barcelona here on the main channel, and it's been really, really successful. I've just moved to Sporting Lisbon in my Twitch save and basically did a plug and play with that same tactic. We've got a strong squad at Sporting, and we have just lost every game in the league playing that same tactic that has worked so well at Barcelona. Now, that is very early days. We've played like three league matches, so it's not a huge research pool to be pulling from, and it is a different team that the tactic may not have worked with prior to the update, but there is a possibility that these tweaks combined mean that tactics that didn't work very well before might work better, and tactics that work really well might not work as well. It's like, as usual, it's going to take us a few days, a few weeks maybe, to potentially work out a shift to the meta that might have happened as part of the combination of all this stuff going through at the same time. Because, I mean, one of my main routes to goal in FM23 have been these balls over the top for fast strikers to chase onto. Fast strikers have been absolutely key, and if defenders are now reacting better to those balls over the top, maybe we'll need to figure out a new way to score goals. It's very sad, but at the same time, nice to get that new bit of challenge thrown in halfway through the game cycle. So these are the changes to the stats. I don't really look at the match stats, so this kind of stuff doesn't massively bother me, but I know if you're trying to do a money ball save, or if you really care about the match stats, having these stats recorded accurately is going to be absolutely crucial. And then we've also got these changes to gameplay. So improvements to the recruitment focused logic. That is very welcome. Again, with Barcelona, all I'm ever told to do on the recruitment focus is look for a goalkeeper, even though we have one and he's got loads of potential and he's really good. So it would be quite nice to have a little bit more logic applied to that. Improve how AI value the next sale percentage clauses. That is, if that changes the thing where you agree a sale price with a player, so like you say to a player, I'll sell you for 30 million, and then you get an offer in and it's like 19 million plus various add-ons and percentages, and the player still gets upset. If it's fixed that problem, I am all in favor of that, because that is a huge frustration of mine. Improvements to international squad selection logic to help younger players get called up is good. It decreased the training injury frequency rate. Big thumbs up there. Fixed an issue where no conversation being generated with high-profile players. Again, I don't really do international stuff. I'm not really bothered about the international stuff. There was an issue with player registration in Italy. That's been fixed. Fixed an issue where staff were asking for unsuitable roles. Again, I hadn't noticed it, but good to see it's fixed if it was a problem. Fixed an issue where high current ability players retain relatively high physical attributes late into their careers. That is a big one. I've noticed that not just in FM23, that was a thing in FM22 as well. With players, like we saw it with Harry Kane with Spurs and non-league to legend. He was far too good, far too late into his career. So if we can have players actually decline and retire, it would be quite nice for battling against the AI teams in the first 10 years of a long-term save. And then there's various other bits and bobs as well in there as well. Obviously, it's all there on screen. Feel free to have a read. Let me know your thoughts if I've missed a really important one. They've fixed an issue where certain manager man glasses are missing parts of the rims. I'm glad the major issues are being fixed, and then these are all the various fixes to competitions and rules. I think it does specifically mention, the Swiss Super League in there, which definitely needed a fix. It was hellacious before and is now fixed. This is an interesting one. Fixed position sorting rules for the new 24-25 format UEFA club competitions. I'm not quite sure what the fix is there, but I did think it was a little bit weird sometimes how the positioning in the league table, because it's based on head-to-head and you don't all play each other, if it's made it so it makes a little bit more sense, because I've played in those group stages dozens of times now and I still don't really understand it. So if that's made it clearer or work better or work more consistently, that's definitely a good thing. And there's some fixes to achievements and stuff as well. Bottom line, they've changed an awful lot. This is a huge, huge winter update. 3.7 million database changes is massive in itself. Just having, if you're starting a new save, just having players at their new clubs, players with their new current abilities, new potential abilities is going to make it feel new. So if you're maybe getting a little bit bored of the save that you're in, starting a new save now would probably be the right time to do it. Obviously, stuff like database changes, transfers, that only applies to new saves, because how would that work if you were 5 years into a save? You can't. It wouldn't work. But all of this other stuff, the match engine stuff, the graphic stuff, the gameplay stuff, all of that will work for any saves that you have currently got going. So you should notice these changes appear in your saves. So like I say, if your tactics suddenly stops working or suddenly starts working, you know what to blame. The update has changed things, and it, like I say, it will take us a little while to figure out what the new meta is. But rest assured, as soon as we do figure it out, I'll let you know. And we'll start winning again, because I do like winning. But that is it for your FM23 winter update. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of the changes. Do you think they've got any of the players wrong? Do you think they've missed players that needed changing? Are you happy with the changes to the match engine and all the other bits and bobs as well? Is there something they should have fixed that it doesn't look like they've looked at? And of course, let me know once you get some games under your belt how it is being implemented in your saves. What big changes are you noticing? I am going to be very eager to have a look through this comment section and see just how people are finding all of these changes. But if you have enjoyed that video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. I know this is another missed non-League to Legend day today. You are going to get 2 over the weekend, though. You'll still have your 5 for the week. You'll have non-League to Legend on Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. So you're not actually missing out. We just had to squeeze our breaking news in. And thank you very much for watching.